The celebrities are gossiping about drama amid Baldoni.
Asking why Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were even there.
They did this publicity stunt last night where they went on SNL and Ryan Reynolds made this silly joke, this really silly joke.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds might have just made the biggest mistake of their careers. For years, they've been Hollywood royalty, one of the most beloved power couples, carefully crafting their public image as the industry's golden pair. They played the media game flawlessly, always staying on the right side of public opinion. But now, that image is crumbling fast. After months of controversy, lawsuits, and a growing wave of backlash, their latest move has pushed things over the edge.
So Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were the hot topic of conversation among guests at Saturday Night Live's.
Instead of keeping a low profile and letting the storm pass, they decided to appear on Saturday Night Live, mocking the very scandal that has been destroying their reputation. And people are not having it. Fans who once adored them are now turning against them. Hollywood executives, who usually protect their biggest stars, are distancing themselves. And behind the scenes, there's talk that their status as A-list icons might not be as secure as they thought. This wasn't just bad timing. This was a career-damaging miscalculation. So how did Blake and Ryan, two of the smartest public figures in Hollywood, get it so wrong?
Justin Baldoni's lawyer has some choice words about it all.
When Blake Lively made her surprise return to Saturday Night Live, most people expected it to be a fun, harmless guest appearance. But instead, it turned into one of the most out-of-touch celebrity moments in recent memory. Right now, Blake Lively is in the middle of a major scandal involving her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. What was supposed to be a strong legal case in her favor is now falling apart in real time. As more details emerge, people are starting to question whether she was ever telling the full truth. And then there's Ryan Reynolds. He's managed to stay quiet, but that's exactly the problem. For months, there have been accusations that he played a role in the smear campaign against Baldoni. Even though he hasn't directly spoken about it, his silence has only made things worse. Because in Hollywood, when a scandal breaks, silence is just as bad as guilt. So after all of that, after everything they've been accused of, what do? They go on SNL and act like none of it matters. Their entire attitude that night felt like a slap in the face to people who expected them to take the situation seriously. Instead of addressing the controversy or showing even the slightest bit of concern, they treated the moment as if it was just another joke. And if there's one thing the public hates, it's celebrities who act like they're too powerful to face consequences. Rather than winning people back, their SNL appearance did the exact opposite. It made them look arrogant, dismissive, and completely out of touch. And now, the backlash is even worse than before.
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds.
Hi.
Hey. Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
And it's it's SNL 50-year anniversary. And I go Saturday night, whatever. Ryan Reynolds stands up and she's like, how's it going? He's like, good. Why? What have you heard? And it was all ha 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 ha.
This is where things get really bad. Because if there's one thing Hollywood doesn't tolerate, it's stars who become liabilities. And right now, Blake and Ryan are becoming a massive liability. For years, Hollywood protected them. They were media darlings, always in good standing with executives, producers, and studio heads. But now, that protection is disappearing. Behind the scenes, industry insiders are already talking about how this scandal is damaging their brand. The first warning sign? The silence. When A-list celebrities get into trouble, their powerful friends usually rally around them, supporting them publicly, defending them in interviews, or at the very least, showing some form of loyalty. But in this case, nobody is stepping up. The same industry that once treated them as untouchable is now backing away. This is how careers start to unravel. At first, it's just a few negative headlines. Then, big industry names stop mentioning them. Suddenly, studios start rethinking their investments, brands begin reassessing sponsorship deals, and before you know it, that A-list power status starts slipping away. And if Blake and Ryan don't turn this around soon, this might be the beginning of their downfall.
Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
This was the first public appearance for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds since she filed her civil rights complaint.
They're sort of radioactive. In one breath, Blake Lively is saying she was the subject of serious sexual harassment during the filming of It Ends With Us, and now they're making light of it on SNL's 50th reunion show. So tonally, it does seem off, and I can imagine people just wanting to stay away from it. You're going to catch shrapnel if you get involved in this drama at this point.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds aren't new to Hollywood scandals. They've been in the industry long enough to know how to control a narrative, and up until now, they've been masters at it. Whenever there was backlash, they had a well-planned strategy, a carefully crafted social media post, a well-timed interview, or just enough silence to let the controversy fade away. But this time, nothing is working. Their usual tricks aren't fooling anyone, and the backlash isn't dying down. Blake's legal team has been trying to push back against the growing criticism, but every time they try to defend her, it just makes things worse. The inconsistencies in her lawsuit against Baldoni are getting harder to ignore, and her SNL appearance only raised more questions. Meanwhile, Ryan's silence, which used to work in his favor, is now turning into a problem. At first, people assumed he was staying quiet because he didn't want to get involved. But now, people are starting to believe he's hiding something. Because let's be honest, if someone had nothing to do with a controversy, wouldn't they want to set the record straight? Instead, Ryan is doing exactly what guilty Hollywood stars do when a scandal breaks. He's ignoring the situation. He's acting like nothing is happening. He's hoping it will just go away. And if there's one thing the public hates more than a scandal, it's a celebrity who refuses to take responsibility. This is where things start to spiral out of control. Because if their PR teams can't fix this soon, they won't just be losing fans, they'll be losing Hollywood's trust.
Contradictory. I mean, that behavior contradicts your argument that you want a fair trial and you don't want this to play out in the court of public opinion, yet you're standing in front of a room of celebrities on a national television show.
Normally, when A-list celebrities face a public backlash, Hollywood steps in to protect them. Powerful PR teams work behind the scenes to control the media coverage. Studio executives reach out to journalists to shape the story in their favor. Other celebrities publicly defend them to keep their reputation intact. But this time, none of that is happening. Hollywood's biggest names are staying silent. Major studios are keeping their distance. And nobody is coming to Blake and Ryan's defense. This isn't normal. In fact, it's a warning sign. Because in Hollywood, silence isn't just a lack of support. It's a deliberate choice. Executives, producers, and insiders watch these scandals closely. They pay attention to who is involved, how bad the backlash gets, and whether it's worth protecting them. And right now, they've decided that Blake and Ryan aren't worth defending. Why? Because the risks outweigh the rewards. Blake's lawsuit is falling apart, and it's making her look untrustworthy. Ryan is linked to a smear campaign, and the public is turning against him. Their SNL stunt made them seem arrogant, not relatable. Hollywood isn't stepping in to help them because they don't want to be associated with a losing battle. And that's dangerous, because once Hollywood starts backing away, that's when careers start to fall apart.
But now, with lawsuits, texts, and all the things that she put out there, Justin is allowed to defend himself. He has, and he's been doing a way better job than your maximum effort. They showed up to try to make light, to sort of poke fun and seem likable and see, well, everything's cool, guys, right? No, that's why they attended.
This isn't just a temporary scandal. If Blake and Ryan don't turn this around soon, the damage could become permanent. We've seen this happen to other celebrities before. Johnny Depp lost roles in major films when Hollywood distanced itself from him. Amber Heard's career collapsed after her credibility was questioned. Even Will Smith, one of the biggest stars in the world, was put on hold after his Oscars controversy. If Hollywood turns against you, it doesn't matter how famous you are. You stop getting cast. Studios stop investing in your projects. Brands quietly drop you from their partnerships. And in Blake and Ryan's case, that process is already starting. The real question now is, can they recover before it's too late? Or is this the moment when Hollywood decides they're no longer worth protecting?
And then we'll talk about everybody making fun of them, like all the A-list celebrities. What are you doing here? Why are you guys here? Do you guys really believe that you're still part of our crew? You crooked weirdos.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds aren't just dealing with a temporary scandal. this controversy has already gone beyond bad headlines and fan backlash. Hollywood executives, industry insiders, and major studios are watching closely to see if this situation becomes a career killer. And right now, the warning signs aren't looking good. Blake's reputation is falling apart because of the way her lawsuit is unraveling. She positioned herself as the victim, but as more details emerge, her credibility is in serious question. Ryan, who has always been seen as a PR genius, is now in a position he's never been in before. He's losing control of his image. His strategy of staying silent is no longer working, and instead of looking like the lovable Hollywood star he once was, he's starting to look shady and calculated. For years, they built their careers on being relatable, charming, and untouchable. But now, they seem like just another Hollywood power couple caught in a scandal they can't escape. And if they don't turn this around fast, this could be the beginning of the end.
I will happily participate in releasing any further leaks that they have, because the truth should be out there.
At this point, Blake and Ryan have very few options left. If they want to survive this, they have to make a major move, and soon. First, Blake has to find a way to repair her credibility. Right now, the lawsuit against Baldoni is falling apart, and if she doesn't get ahead of it, the damage could be permanent. She could try to shift the narrative by doing a carefully planned interview, but if she chooses the wrong words, it could make things even worse. For Ryan, the solution is even trickier. He needs to either break his silence and clear his name or distance himself from Blake's controversy entirely. If he doesn't, he runs the risk of going down with her. Because right now, Hollywood is looking for a reason to move on. One of the biggest dangers of a scandal like this isn't just the damage to a celebrity's image, it's what happens when Hollywood decides they're no longer needed. We've seen this before. Johnny Depp was replaced in major films when his legal battles became too much of a risk. Amber Heard, once positioned as the next big actress in Hollywood, lost everything when the public turned against her. Even stars like Kevin Spacey and Armie Hammer, who were once highly respected, were erased from Hollywood overnight. Right now, Blake and Ryan aren't at that level yet. But the longer this controversy drags on, the more replaceable they become. Hollywood is always looking for new faces, and if major studios decide that Blake and Ryan are too much of a risk, they will be replaced. And the worst part? Once you lose Hollywood's trust, you don't get it back. So the question is, have Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds already lost Hollywood? Or is there still time for them to fix this before it's too late? Blake and Ryan have always been the kind of celebrities who seemed untouchable. They were smart, calculated, and knew how to stay ahead of the media. But now, their biggest asset, public perception, is turning against them. Their SNL stunt was supposed to be funny. Instead, it exposed how out of touch they really are. Hollywood was supposed to protect them. Instead, it's going silent. Their PR teams were supposed to handle this. Instead, it's spiraling out of control. So what do you think? Has Hollywood already decided to move on from Blake and Ryan? Can they still fix their reputations, or is it already too late? And if their careers start fading, who will take their place as Hollywood's next power couple? Because one thing is clear, this scandal has changed everything. Let me know in the comments, and if you stayed till the end, comment SNL. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to me, and ring the bell so you will be first to know about newest drama.